Florida tax deed secrets revealed. Buy some Florida homes for pennies on the dollar. That's what you're going to learn here in today's live stream. We are excited to share with you. So in Florida, there's actually a great way to really work the tax deed market and scoop things up without an auction. We've been talking about over-the-counter tax deeds, and Florida is a unique beast that has some weird quirks to it that for the average person, it might seem not appealing, but for the expert and the trained eye, if you want to make money in real estate, if you want to buy cheap properties, pennies on the dollar, sometimes people pick up lots and land cheaper than a used car. So we're going to dive into that here today with some Florida tax deeds before the auction. And you can do this from anywhere in the world. Like if you're in America in a different state, doesn't matter if you're in Florida, you could be in Siberia. And we're going to show you how to access these properties and do it. So if you're tuning in, it's Dustin Hahn here. And this channel is dedicated to helping people make money with tax liens and deeds, government seized property. People like this channel so far, it seems, because we have about 3,500 videos on tax liens and deeds. We are the most subscribed channel on the internet when it comes to tax liens and deeds. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're not perfect, but we try our best to give the best content in the whole industry for liens and deeds. And we do. We try to give away all our best books, which are below for free. And our agenda is to provide the community with as much information as possible. You can check out our videos. And then if you want to come join us at an auction one day, maybe you would be interested in that. So from here, we are going to bring in the team. Mr. Corey Chason, how you doing? Caught you with a really funny face. Beautiful shirt, like the pink. And Mr. Josh Blanchard, how are you today?
Howdy, howdy.
Great. So Josh, let's show these guys, because Florida is a great spot, but not a lot of people know how to proceed. And over-the-counter tax deeds are an amazing opportunity. However, Florida is unique because they're both tax liens and tax deeds. So Josh, if we could share basically how to scoop up some of these properties without an auction, and the weird thing, well, not necessarily the weird thing, but why over-the-counter properties in Florida aren't that common. But I just remembered for the YouTube algorithm, and Josh, if you could mention this during your screen share, we're showing 100% public information as we go through this. We're not revealing any hidden things behind closed doors. Everything we show is public information sitting there waiting for you to go and make some money with. And wanted to say that. So Josh, if we could share with them why Florida is unique and how to find some of these smoking deals quickly here today.
Okay, nice. Yeah, we'll throw up my screen here. I've got it started on Google, and that way you can follow along with me, or you can come back and rewatch this video and do this yourself. And so this video is actually a response to just an overwhelming amount of comments on our videos, just people asking for over-the-counter in Florida, looking for a little bit more information in Florida. So we do read the comments, and we do create content from that, because we want to be the best channel out there. We want to give you information that's relevant and that you're interested in. So as always, in the comments, let us know where you're tuning in from and how we can tailor the content for you. But here we go. And so in Florida, if you want to find over-the-counter deeds, the easiest thing to search is lands available list in Florida. So I'm going to go ahead and type that here, lands available list, Florida. And here we go. So we can see that we've got a ton of options here. Brevard, Orange County, Sarasota, Putnam County, Highlands County, Volusia, Alachua, or something like that. We got a lot of stuff here that's available. And so the interesting thing about Florida is that a lien becomes a deed. A lien goes to a deed sale, and then whoever purchases the deed sale, they get the home. And so most states, you know, any other tax deed state, so you've got West Virginia, you've got Texas, you've got Washington, you've got California, tons of tax deeds, or sorry, my bad, I meant the reverse. So tax lien states, Indiana, where you get the lien, if they don't pay, you get the property. So in this instance, you get only interest on the property, and then it goes to a tax deed sale. So the important thing to remember is that if it is an over-the-counter tax deed, what that means is the lien holder, they did all of the work, it went to the sale, and they didn't bother to actually get it for the opening bid, and nobody else did. And so that's a bit weird, right? That's a bit funny because why would someone not get a property? And A, it may actually be underwater, it may be a terrible parcel, but why go through the work? And so for them, when it is a lien, what they have to do is then get a title search done. They send mail to everybody who has an interest in the property, letting them know it's going to go to an auction. And then it actually goes to the auction. And so they go through all of this work, but they don't buy it. And so most likely it's because it's not a deal, or it's not worth the effort, or it's not worth the work. Because again, why would a lien holder not actually go through the final step of getting a deed? So I'll show you how to find, actually like kind of navigate this for a whole bunch of counties. And so this is brevardclerk.us/lands available. If I click on view tax deeds online, it's going to bring me to brevard.realtydm.com. So let me show you this really, really cool hack that I've never seen anywhere in my life. So let's go ahead and go to realauction.com. I'm going to click on clients, and then I'm going to click on Real TDM. Now, if I go ahead and I try to click on anything here, there's actually no hyperlink. If you see when I scroll over this, there's nothing that I can actually click on. But watch this, brevard.realtydm.com/public/cases/list. Now watch this. This is really cool. Let me just pull any of these counties. I'm going to just take the name. Instead of Brevard, I'm going to put in this. Boom. Look at that. And so you can see all of the tax deeds for any of these counties here just by simply coming in and changing the name in the URL. So even though you can't actually click on these websites, and some of them you may not actually be able to even access, they may be very hard to find. If you just come in here, copy that, paste it in, boom, look at that. There we go. So that's the first important step. This is how you find over-the-counter tax deeds for any of these counties right here. So I'm going to show you how to find them. Under case status, we're looking for list of lands. And then from list of lands, you're going to look for available to public. So the awesome thing is, once you know how to do this for one county, you know how to do it for all of these counties. So that's, like 20 or 30 counties. So right now you can find over-the-counter tax deeds for about 30 counties. So you click list of lands available for public, and then click search. So this is Polk County. It's just doing a request processing. No cases found. So there's actually no over-the-counter in Polk. Let's go ahead. Let's try Brevard. So I'm going to do the same thing. Get rid of Polk. Type in Brevard. Select case status, list of lands available for public. Click search. And so from there, I believe there are a few for Brevard County. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So you can see that this was the date that it was created. The sale date was August 24th, 2023. This was March 21st, 2024. And so these are all available right now. And so some counties are going to have a ton of over-the-counter. But remember what we mentioned earlier. It's really bizarre because they already went through all of the work. You can see here, these are all of the interested parties. And so the tax lien holder, and again, this is all public information. This is not private information. This is all public. Let's see who's the lien holder. This is an unbuilt condo unit. Interesting. Owner, applicant. So we can see the applicant is More Financial Services out of Dallas, Texas. So they did pay for the title search to identify all of these interested parties. They sent them mail. You can see the notifications here. We've got, there's going to be a title search in there. They went through all of the work, and it went to the auction, and nobody decided to buy it. And so the redemption amount at the time was $3,574. Now that some time has passed, the purchase price is $3,709. And that's why most of the over-the-counter deeds in Florida are not going to be good. Because again, they're actually letting it go, right? They could have got it for this price, because nobody actually bid on it at the auction. They could have got it for this price and they decided to let it go. So yes, we can help you find over-the-counter tax deeds, and you can find them for every single one of these states. And I bet you that there are going to be a few good deals, but it's way different than an over-the-counter deed list from any other state. And so if you have over-the-counter tax deeds in Pennsylvania, or you have over-the-counter tax deeds in Washington, California, it's different because somebody else didn't have the first right to get that for the back taxes. Maybe it was just missed from an auction. It could have been from an auction years ago. It makes much more sense that somebody just missed it at the auction. That happens all the time. Good deals slide through, and that just happens. But in this case, somebody already had the lien. They could have foreclosed on it. They could have got it for what they were into it, and they didn't. And so, yes, you can come through, you could replace this and you could go through every single website here. And I bet you will find some deals. Absolutely. Because, maybe there's a lien holder that just forgot, maybe something happened to them, or, maybe they just actually weren't interested in the property for some reason and it actually would be fine. There's all kinds of reasons that suggest that maybe a deal does slip through the cracks. But let me show you how you can do a pre-auction deal and how you can target this to find people when they are most motivated and most likely to sell a deal to you or sell the property to you. And so if we come
Josh,
back, yeah.
as we pull up that site, it's a good time to take a moment and just say hello to everybody here. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we want to know who is with us here today. So let us know who's here and what state you're in, because it helps us make this content. So for example, last week, someone was saying, hey, I'm in Florida. We had several people in Florida that wanted Florida content. So here we are this week doing Florida. So take a second, let us know who's tuning in. We're going to do questions here coming up as we go through this. So if you have any tax lien or deed questions about any state you're in, put those in the comments as well. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put in the comments where you're tuning in from, any questions you have, because we make this content based on what you guys want to see. So we got some familiar faces here. We got D tuning in. We got Raymond, DC, welcome. Dean, Phil, welcome everybody for tuning in. Welcome, Brooke. And we're excited to dive in. And remember, for anybody here, we always give away the ABCs of tax liens and deeds. This is the guidebook that we go off of internally all the time. And we have the county directories and information here for you. And when we make these live streams, this is the information that we pull from. So all of that is in the description below. You guys can get that. It is our gift to you, and that's always in the description. But if you're ever wondering like, oh, how do these guys get this information? It's from the information in there, and then we extrapolate it here. And our goal is to teach you guys how to fish. So we're going to show you deals that pop up here today. And from there, you guys can go and dig in and either go get the deals or watch some more training. So back to you, Josh.
All right. So yeah, so you can do this. We showed you how to do over the counter for every single state here, or sorry, every single county here listed. So you may be able to find some good deals, but again, this is a tax lien holder that could have got the property and they passed on it. And so that's why we want to show you how you can actually capitalize on this market and pivot. And so what we're going to look at today are pre-auction deals in Florida, and timing is everything. And so I'm going to show you how to find cases that are liens slated, they're scheduled for an auction, an upcoming auction. And so this is the time that the homeowner, if they're going to do something, this is the last chance before the property goes to the auction. Yeah, Simon says, oh, so you read my comment. Yes, we do. We do read comments. So it's going to be the exact same thing. So it's the realtdm.com/public/cases/list. And so if you can't like find this or something like that, you got it right here. You can take a screenshot. So let's say we want to work one of the most competitive markets, Miami-Dade, for instance. I wonder if there's a hyphen in this. We'll see here in a sec. Nice. Okay, so it worked. Miami-Dade. So here I can see everything. So if I wanted to look for over the counter, I can select list of land. Looks like they don't even have anything for over the counter. But let's say we wanted to do a pre-auction deal. So what that means is I want to find all of the tax liens that are currently going to auction, but they have not gone to auction yet. So this is the sweet spot. So already the homeowner, all the interested parties, they've gotten a letter that says if the taxes are not paid, this is going to go to an auction. So to show you how to find all of these active cases, I'm going to click active, and I don't want any that have sold. I just want them that are actually active, which means they are scheduled. So we'll go ahead, click search. And so from here, let's let this load up and I'll show you exactly what we're looking at. Since it's Miami-Dade, I bet there's going to be a good chunk of them. That's why it's just taking a second to load.
And this is a great tip because the auctions in Miami can be pretty busy. And the cool thing about a pre-auction deal is you can scoop up these things before the auction. And there are some good advantages to a pre-auction deal, which is, you can get it under contract and you can wholesale it, which is super cool. You could get it under contract for $100 and then go facilitate a buyer and make 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000, which is always awesome. And then another benefit of a pre-auction deal is the fact that, you can get it under contract, you can get it inspected, which is great. So with Miami, that there could be some big money there, right? And with this, you could have a chance of going right to the homeowner and getting even a better deal than you would have gotten at the auction because Miami is busy. Is my thought there.
Yeah, also something interesting is that we can see the date that it was created and you can see the sale date. So there's actually this group that's stuck in limbo from there's one from 2015, some from 21, some from 2022. So this would be a really good opportunity to do a bit of due diligence because for some reason, these are all liens that are ready to go to the deed sale, but you can see these, they don't have a sale date. Some of these, there's a lot that are not assigned. These are from 2022, which kind of makes me think that they're stuck in limbo or something like that. And so there could be some really good opportunities there. I'm just going to click and try to load up the second page. Looks like they may do things a tiny bit differently in Miami-Dade. So I'm going to go to Brevard because I did this earlier. So let's do it like this. Brevard, select case status, active. We're just going to go active, click search. And it could be that they might have it under a different active in Miami-Dade. That could be how it is. So here we can see the date that it was created, and here's the sale date. So date created meaning that on October 1st, 2024, the tax lien holder petitioned for this to go to the deed sale. But the sale date isn't actually until August 21st. So right now is the 14th, which would mean about 7 days more or less, right? Till this goes to the auction. It's coming up. And so it's really the last moment for the homeowner. And so if I click on this, I can go ahead and I've got access to all of the details. So the redemption amount is $1,390. We've got the property address. These published dates, this is when it was listed in the newspaper or the journal, and we can see all the interested parties. So we have the homeowner, and what you're going to do is you're going to skip trace the homeowner's name, and you could do that on PropWire, you could do it on PropStream. It's only going to cost you about 15 cents. And so, how much is this property worth? Let's take a quick look. 5255 Beluga Ave, $900. So I'm thinking that it's a piece of land. Maybe you don't want to put the time into a piece of land. So we could just come back out. Let's check out the next one. If you're wanting to find a house. So this one's got a redemption amount of 1467, which also makes me think 5210. It's also probably a house. It's probably also a piece of land. So we're looking for something that's a little bit higher for an opening bid. $5,000. This has got to be a house. VIN, okay, it could be a mobile home. 358 Acorn. Okay, so we're into this, right? $131,000. The opening bid would be $6,413.85.
Nice.
So we can see that this was the application was October 15th, 2024. So the sales date's August 21st. Has not been canceled yet. Okay. So Cecilia says, I'm late. What county is this? We're looking at over-the-counter tax deed opportunities, and then showing you how you can pivot and you can actually get these as a pre-auction deal. We're showing you exactly how to go about this. And so this is really juicy. So $130,000, this may get bid up to 50 grand, 60 grand, $70,000, 80. But right now, all it takes to stop this from going to sale is $6,413.85. Sale happens in 7 days. Nobody's done anything about it yet. So what you can do is you can go in and you can skip trace the owner's name. You can also see the interested parties. So this is where it's important to be careful with your numbers, because if there is a mortgage on the property, it's going to get wiped by the tax deed sale. And so if there is a mortgage, you've got to make sure that if you buy this property, does it make sense numbers wise? If you include the mortgage, all of the liens, everything that's going to get wiped would not get wiped if you do a pre-auction deal. So be mindful of that. But you throw this property into PropWire, PropStream, you would skip trace the information, and then you would send either a postcard, but because you got 7 days, a text message is going to be better. And you don't want to send something annoying, right? And if someone like doesn't want you talking to them, you're not going to keep calling back. So you want people to be respectful. You could just reach out, let them know you're an investor in the area in real estate, and if they've thought about selling, if they're interested in selling, something like that. You could also have someone drop a note off. There's all kinds of different ways you can get a hold of someone. But let's say they say yes. They say, yes, I do want to sell, because you talk to them, they say, we're interested in selling. And then, you let them know that it is going to the auction, and that once it goes to the auction, it's going to be too late, right? And so maybe you give them $20,000, right? So 6,413 is going to go to the opening bid, stop the sale, and then the rest can go to the homeowners. Let's say they do say they are interested. Let me show you our real estate purchase and sale agreement. And this thing is actually stacked like crazy. So there's going to be a lot of additional extra information in here that is it's not going to be in a regular purchase and sales agreement. And let me show you why you want something like this. And if you're looking at this and you kind of want to copy, just feel free to take some screenshots so you can go ahead and you have access to it. So it's a regular purchase price, things like that, property address. This is all pretty typical. Let me show you the juice. So there's two things here that will really supercharge this. The first is called a pre-marketing agreement. This actually gives you the right to market the property. And so let's say it's not a week out, right? Whoops, sorry, this is a run. There we go. Let's say it's not a week out. Let's say the sale is happening in 4 months. So you actually have time. It's not, this sale is August 21st, but let's say you do have some time and they do want to sell, but you actually don't have the money to buy it. You could go ahead, you could use this purchase and sale agreement, and you can actually market the property on Zillow or the MLS. Pretty sweet, right? So this pre-marketing agreement, this is legit fire. I can't believe we're showing this right now. This is not a cheap purchase and sale agreement to get your hands on. And let me show you the other juice is, of course, the ability to wholesale it. Let's see. Seller representations, pre-marketing agreement, or it's probably right in there. Yeah, so this is going to allow you to wholesale this contract so that you do not have to be the end buyer. And so let's say someone does want to sell and it's a smoking deal, right? You can go ahead, you can put this property under contract, and you can actually then wholesale it to somebody else so that someone else brings the cash to the table. And so the reason that this is so desirable is because not everybody knows about this. Not everybody knows how to go ahead and track down all this information. Nobody, there's a lot of people that may just only show up at the auction and they may bid on it, but they don't know how to find all of this, so they don't know how to see what's going on. And you have access to all the interested parties here. If there's multiple people on title, because if you just let's say you take it, for instance, on PropWire or PropStream, and there's only one owner there, you may not have the full picture. But someone's actually already paid for a title search. In this instance, you're going to see that information in here. Here's all of the notifications. Here's all of the information for the case in documents. So there is a title search in here that someone already paid $250 for. So you have access to that title search. If there are multiple people on title, and you can't find two of them, but you can find the third, maybe you can still make the deal happen. And so doing a pre-auction deal can be a way to beat the market, because if people are bidding property up, let's take Miami-Dade, for instance, 50, 60, 70 cents on the dollar, it's difficult to compete, right? You might come back month after month just to strike out. But if you go ahead and you find people who are slated for the tax sale, they're the most motivated, they need to sell the property. If they don't sell the property, they could end up with nothing. So it's not like we're out here just trying to prey on people, but if they're paralyzed and they're not able to make a decision or move, you could actually come in, you can stop the sale, put some money in their pocket, and then also profit from it. And so all the information is right here. Skip trace, 15 cents, 25 cents. You've got access to all of the documents, and you have access to all of the properties that are scheduled for a tax deed auction. So there's two different strategies here we talked about today. One is over the counter. So certainly you can come in and you can look at every single lands available list in Florida. And some of them are actually going to be better than others. You're going to find some counties it's like, whoa, there's actually good deals here. Other counties, there's going to be no good deals. So it just takes going through and sifting. And then the other strategy is, of course, the pre-auction deal. And so if you don't have a purchase and sale agreement, go ahead and take some screenshots of ours, or you can always go back. But again, the fire piece of this is the pre-marketing agreement. This is fairly new. There's not many people that do this. It's not talked about very much. But if the homeowner signs this, you then have the right to go ahead and list this, which is phenomenal. Then you can get a lot of eyes on it. You're not solely dealing with, a cash buyers list. You can actually get this on the market.
Nice.
Cool.
One of the things that we chat about as you guys get into this is being dynamic and adaptable, and kind of really going for, working every angle of a deal. So we chat a lot about getting into tax liens and deeds, where you can buy, last week we did our over the counter tax deed video where there's thousands of properties sitting in county inventory right now that you can just go and buy. But you want to be able to be dynamic and have like a tool belt, in the sense of like looking at a property or an opportunity and really figuring out how to attack it from all angles and get all the meat off the bone. Because when you do that, your opportunity, it's a compound effect. Because if you're looking with just kind of blinders on and you're like, oh, there's an auction, things are getting bid up, or if you're looking like, okay, the auction's coming up, you know what, before the auction, let me see if I can scoop up some of these properties before they show up at the auction. And we've done that many times while out driving properties for the Houston auction. We might see the neighbor outside. We might leave an envelope for them to call us, or a sticky note on the door. Proceed with your own caution if you're going to door knock. We've done a lot of that as well. It's absolutely terrifying. So, only do that if you're very confident, but that can work. I've probably knocked on 1,000 doors, and the first 500 were terrifying and scary. And you get into some, if there's one way to push your comfort zone, absolutely terrifying to knock on those doors. And basically what I would say back in the day, and once again, proceed with your own caution. We're not doctors or lawyers, and we don't pretend to be one on the internet. A friend of mine says, I'm not a doctor, but I'll take a look. So we don't pretend to be doctors or lawyers, but we can caution you. We can say there's two sides of the coin, as far as you can just leave an envelope or a sticky note on the door, and that can work really well. And they can call you back, because it's, not a lot of people receive sticky notes on their door, and it can be super simple. Homeowner's name, Dave, give me a call in regards to the property. And that can be it, right? You weren't home or whatever. But when I would knock on the door, it was pretty simple and straightforward. If I had the person's name, which I do from the county record, if it's a guy and a guy answers the door, I'd knock, yeah, hello, hey Dave, how you doing? And then they'd be kind of taken off. They'd look at you funny and be like, no, Dave, you don't know me. I'm just in the area. I'm looking at some property. There's a few people having some troubles with the county right now, and I'm just perhaps interested in picking up a property in the area, just wanted to see, what your plan is with your property, and just kind of be open-ended, but you're also kind of taking some pressure off, saying that there's a few people in the neighborhood. So that worked really well. And just read the room, if there's trucks on blocks and, guys in motorcycles wrenching on vehicles that, maybe you don't want to go there. So, read the room, proceed with your own caution, but we have done deals that way as well. But when it comes to just looking at all the angles, this can really help you get a leg up. Like you're going to the auction, and especially if you're driving properties, then, you can almost have like an exponential factor by putting out all these feelers. And if you're leaving, sticky notes, this stuff kind of compounds because could sit on their table. People that really get into this sometimes might leave like, fun things like an envelope with a bag of microwave popcorn, or, a trinket or something peculiar, or a $1 bill in an envelope, right? That says, just to show you I'm serious, to stand out and be different, right? Like if you left a $1, because this is a very highly targeted prospect. So even if it took you 1,000 doors, and if you got one of these properties, even under contract that you wholesaled, in a place like Miami, you could make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So, we call that the customer acquisition cost, and any business has that. With tax liens and deeds, and with the angle that we're talking about here, I'm pretty confident that if you took 1,000 of these and put a $1 bill in an envelope with a little note that said, hey, give me a call, you're going to get deals. Even if it's just a 3% hit rate, if you get 3 deals for $1,000, and each of those deals, even if you wholesale, make you 10 grand, you turned 1,000 into 30 grand. Now, obviously you have some sweat equity into the deal, but this is where you go and grow a business to maybe pound the pavement yourself, get that first deal, and then you can hire somebody else to go and put those things on for you. But to really start looking at this as a business is so important to long-term success and creating wealth in your life through real estate. So we're here to share that with you. It looks like the stream's starting to fill up. Warm welcome to everybody who's here. If you have some questions, put them in there. Drew, what's happening? Sharon, good to see you. Dean, Tenny, Canada tuning in. So that's great. You got the US dollar, which is worth a lot in Canada. That is great. What's happening? Alexis and Michael from California. Somebody was saying, can we do California at some point? So Josh, maybe we put that on our radar. That's how we ended up in Florida here today, is somebody said, hey, do Florida. We got lots of folks coming in Florida. Can you show properties that have been sold to cash buyers? We can dive into some of that info coming up. We will get to the questions as we proceed down the path here today, but let us know where you're tuning in from, who it is, because that's how we customize the content. And once again, for anybody tuning in, if you don't have like the free starter course here that has all of the information, all of the directories, all of this is for free. So it's in the description below. If you want to find some of these in a tax deed state, like, maybe you want to be in Alaska, all of the info is here. You just look it up, call, follow the steps that are here. And, a lot of people are always like, oh, if this works so good, you guys are just YouTube gurus. And, at the end of the day, we're transparent. We give away all of our best stuff. Anything you want to learn how to do pretty much in the world, if it's quantum physics or computing or algebra or real estate, most things are for free on the internet. And we are really trying to provide the Tax Lien Deed community with the most valuable free information that is out there. We have 3,500 videos. Our website, Tax Lien School, has thousands of articles, free interactive maps and resources. Open challenge, if you guys can find another Tax Lien Deed site and channel with more information. We haven't seen it yet. So at the end of the day, people are like, yeah, but what's your agenda, right? Like, what's our agenda? We're transparent. This is a business for us. We do the business, and every month we bring a couple people to auctions with us. A lot of people like to learn with one-on-one help and come join us and have them there, or have us there with them. And then we also build people custom AIs to be able to do all the work that you're seeing here with an AI that's built for them. So that's something that we sell as well. So if anybody's ever interested in that, there's a link. You can schedule a free call and we can see if it's a fit to help you. If not, all of the information is here. That is our agenda. And to be transparent, it is a business on top of our real estate business, which is what gave us the information to go and do this, to just clear up anybody's suspicions out there. We also want to be very transparent with you guys here. So we appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, maybe we, what do you think, Josh? Questions, or do you want to transition to some more good stuff here?
I think I actually have found a deal. So there's a couple people. We got a good handful of people right now that are watching the live stream. And so this is an opportunity for you. And the thing is, yeah, we actually do share insane value, to the point that places that we've attended auctions at in the past, we couldn't go there anymore because, we spoke about those places, Arkansas being one of them. We were talking about Arkansas back when you could get really good deals there. And then we started meeting a whole bunch of people who would watch the content and show up at the sales and then bid against us. And so we actually do talk about good deals. We do find good deals. A lot of the people in the past have actually taken action. And so I think this could be an opportunity to take action. It's still a bit confusing why, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is Washington County. And you know how earlier I mentioned that it is weird, right? That there would be an over-the-counter deed that is good because lien holder did have the right. They could have actually gotten the property. They spent all of the time and money to get it to the auction, but they didn't actually bid on it at the auction. And so now it's over the counter. Nobody bid on it. So I was just going through. I did the same thing. If this doesn't look familiar, just watch the beginning of the video. But you can access everything that is over the counter on all of these different websites by just simply coming in and replacing the county name right here. So I was just curious, and I threw in Washington County. They have one property that is available over the counter, and so to find that, I'll just kind of do a quick refresher. So yeah, you can see I searched Manatee before, so I'm going to replace it. Rats. I'm going to replace Manatee with Washington. So now we're looking at Washington County. We can see everything that has been as far as tax liens or tax deeds. Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm just trying to start from the beginning so you can see how I got here. Let's start over here perhaps. So washington.realtydm.com/public/cases/list. We're loading. I could do it from here, but I just want everyone to see how we got there.
You did show at the beginning. So, okay.
Right. So there we go. Yeah, list of lands. That's where you're going to find anything over the counter. And so transferred, that would be good deals. So anytime you come into list of lands and you see transferred and you see a good deal that could have been yours. So here we go. Available for public. So I'm not making it up. Available for public. Now the weird thing is it's trying to say that the purchase price was $24,541. And so the thing is that maybe it went to sale or what? I'm not too sure. But redemption amount is $2,055.87. So it makes me think that it did go to auction, but maybe they didn't actually follow through, because here it is available on the list of lands available for public website. And so I figured if the redemption amount was 2,000, I thought, okay, perhaps it's got a low value. So I clicked on the parcel number and I was like, oh, wow. They're saying that this actually has a value of $50,000 and it's got a house on it. You can see building value. So then I said, okay, well, maybe it's like junk or something like that. So then I took and copied the address. Let me show you where the address is here. Dun, 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 dun. There it is, location address. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And remember, this is available over the counter. The redemption amount was $2,000, $145,000 on Zillow. Built in 1996, 2-acre lot. It's like, what? Really? So maybe that's my only thought. Maybe that it did sell because normally these don't have a purchase price, right? So maybe it did sell. They didn't actually pay. But sale date would have been November 26, 2024. So this was the redemption amount, $2,055, which makes me think that it would just be a little bit higher than that. And so if I were you, I would get on the phone. I would talk to the county, because what I'm seeing here is a house that was built in 1996 that's assessed at around $145,000 that's got 2 acres of land on it. And so when I look at the map, it's like we're not going to be able to get a street view here. It's a bit remote. Washington County is a bit more remote. You can see that right there. Not that far from Panama City Beach, though. When I click on realtor.com, I'm seeing $137,000, $137,200. So even if the house is in pretty rough shape, you do have a 2-acre lot, which is insane. And so the county is assessing it at 50 grand. They are throwing $36,000 towards the building value, which makes me think that there could be some really good opportunity here. So if you're on the live stream right now and you're watching, I would go ahead, call Washington County and let them know that you got this parcel number here. And it is showing up on the lands available list. Lands available list available for the public. So I'm thinking, can you get this $140,000 property for around 2 grand, 3 grand? It's a bit hard to say because it is showing a purchase price, but it is also on the list of lands available for public.
Josh, maybe we throw out an open challenge here right now because we really pride ourselves on showing things that are available right now. Like this isn't a hypothetical thing. This is a property that's available right now. And we often have folks who are tuning in and they follow along with us. Or if you're watching this, go back to the beginning and follow along with it step by step and take action. One of the worst things you can do is if you want to make money in real estate and create wealth in this game is to just watch this stream and not act on it. Because we see it often. People will watch us live and they'll go and they'll buy something right after they watch. We see it in the comments. And it's, especially in this case, it is an early bird who gets the worm because, anywhere between 1,000 to 20,000 people on average are going to watch this. And like Josh was saying earlier, some places we go and then they get busy. So a lot of the places we show, it's good to be first to get there. And then at the end of the day, there will be some folks who say like, oh, there's so much competition. You guys are flooding the market. Well, to give you an example, we generally focus on like 3 to 5 markets. And between the tax lien and deed markets, there are 1,500 of these. And you guys can literally just go and find your own county and do it. Maybe you're in Idaho, you can call them up, do exactly what Josh is doing here and find some property. So the point is we want to put an open challenge for somebody to go check this out. And then we'll report back Tuesday here after the weekend. And let's see if you picked it up or you bought it because there's opportunity. People who tune into this stuff make money. And if you are wondering where to start and what to do, download the book below. We have all of the steps, all of the questions in the book that you call the county, you ask, you follow along, and it is laid out in here step by step from start to finish. So that is for free in the description as our gift to you and our community for tuning in. So we would be very curious about that. Looks like quite a few folks here on the stream here today. So Josh, you want to go through that one or shall we dive into some questions?
Yeah. One of the questions was just, like if you did choose to buy this example, what else do you have to do to make sure this is a good deal? And, you would want to go ahead and you'd want to drive the property. This is the parcel map. And so making sure that you're actually buying what you think you're buying. And we often talk about, throwing this into regrid. I would just need to change this map. So you see, it's going to be one of these. So it could actually show me and view. So I could see, okay, there is a house on it. You see the road there. You could also throw the parcel map into regrid. We talk about that a lot. Regrid's free. You can get 25 searches a day. You could have someone drive the property for you. And then if everything is looking good, you would do a lien search. And then from there, if it looks like it makes sense, you could go ahead and then buy it from the county. But I think the first step is to actually call them because it's odd, again, that it's showing on the list of lands available for public and that it actually also sold. So perhaps they didn't actually pay, because these are online auctions as well. And it's quite common that if a property doesn't sell, they'll give it to the next bidder. But maybe there was nobody bidding that day other than this person. Hard to say. But that's how you go about it.
One of the most important things that we want everybody here to learn is like the philosophy and the fundamental rules of this business and this game, and then also like realistic expectations as far as how things can transpire. One of the things we talk about is everybody here is on their own timeline as far as when this will happen, how much money you'll make, and how quick it will go. Some of you guys you could get a property today if you're calling the right place and getting the over-counter list. Some of you might put in a bunch of work, go to an auction, everything redeems, and you don't get to bid on a property. Sometimes you might go to an auction and everything gets bid up to market value. That could happen as well. So there's a lot of variables, but the thing is, if you want to get and take advantage of the arbitrage here, you have to just take relentless action and move forward. The cool thing about this is some of you might get a deal at your very first auction, or you might get one today just by taking action. But nothing happens unless you take action. What I can tell you is you'll regret not taking action in real estate, especially when I got started in this over 21 years ago now. None of this stuff was online. I didn't have anybody I could talk to. I was watching VHS tapes in my parents' basement, learning about this stuff. The difference now is all of the information is online, but things move so fast now. If you're regretting having not gotten into real estate, 20 years ago when everything's gone up, the opportunity now is bigger because you can go faster and get more, but it's changing so fast that the people who don't take action with this stuff, you are going to be left behind. And it's super important, especially with AI. Like, we're using AI now to do days worth of research in just a few minutes. So the folks that are diving into this are going to have so much more opportunity than previously. However, the window is going to be quicker because you'll watch this online, and it used to be we'd make these live streams and then you have to go do all this stuff manually. But now we can get AI to do a lot of the research, and it is moving faster than ever. And it's easy to kind of gaslight yourself to where, okay, I enjoyed watching this, you're learning, but learning without doing is like reading a menu and expecting to feel full. And some people might say in the comments, just talk and get to the point. Like, we're giving you tactical real estate experience here, but you need to find kind of what your motivation is. And I know most of the people here have not done a real estate deal, or especially have not done a tax lien and deed deal. And now's the time to start. Like, it's never going to get easier than it is today. And especially with kind of the uncertainty in the world, inflation, cost of living going up, it's hard to really work your way out of where we are if you're doing a 9-to-5. And this stuff can give you that jump you need to get into real estate and make money. However, we go at it in an untraditional way through tax liens and deeds. And that's kind of my little soap stool, climbing the stool. So let's go into some questions here. Let's see, questions. And once again, welcome, everybody tuning in. We appreciate that. Let's see, we'll go through some of these. And then, as far as the counties and other places, we see that in the comments. Houston area, keep an eye out for Josh. He will be there coming up in the next couple weeks, which is great. Let's see, actually an appraiser in Florida. Awesome. That's really going to help you get a leg up in this business as well. How often do we do the live stream? We are here Tuesdays and Thursdays, generally at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Let's see here. Does the information cover every county and its particular state? So what we do is we have all of the counties, all 3,200 in here with the websites and the information. And then from there, for anybody who wants to get as much of the information as possible, like I mentioned, what we really pride ourselves on doing is being the top resource across the board, unmatched, is our goal. We feel like we're getting close to doing that. So when it comes to resources, there's these videos, but everybody here should take some time, and we have on our site put together, this has been a huge project, multiple people working on this full time to provide the best resource out there. So if everybody here goes to taxlienschool.com, this is the site, you can click on this Knowledge Vault tab right here, and you will be taken to the #1 free resource for information on tax liens and deeds. We have an interactive map that will give you information on every single state. There is an auction map below where we have people pulling auctions. For example, here, where are we? We're in August into the 1st. Tons of auctions coming up on the calendar. Actually, Broward County right here. You can click on that, see what's going on the map. We have August 20th is the auction. Terms of the sale, important procedures. We have all of the links, everything related to that sale here on the Tax Lien School Knowledge Vault. And then if you just come back and say you want to, explore Florida, all you need to do is come over here, click on Florida to learn more, and boom, we're here. We have Florida. We have all the counties, 2-year redemption period, but we have all of the counties on the left-hand side. The details about Florida, why Florida, this stuff is so comprehensive. And maybe you want to go to one of these counties. We have all the counties laid out on the side. For example, Lee County, we'll click on that, just a random one, and boom, Lee County. We have a video on it and the extensive information on that. So this is kind of your, you can pair this site with the YouTube videos, cross-reference back and forth. And once again, access to the site is free to help you out. And like I say, our goal is to provide that value to the community. And then our secret agenda is we do run a business. So if you guys want one-on-one help going to one of these auctions or preparing, you can schedule a call below as well. So we'll dive into some questions here, but man, a good turnout today on the live stream. Very awesome. Do you drive all the properties you purchase, even out of state? Remember, with a tax deed, the #1 rule is you either see it in person yourself in real time, or you send somebody to go take pictures on it. So there's a couple apps like We Go Look or AirTasker or TaskRabbit where you can, pay somebody to go and take pictures. The big thing is we want real-time data. A big mistake we see is somebody will go and buy a property based off of the image on Google, and those images can be years old. And we've seen it so many times where somebody will bid on something and we're like, man, are we missing something? Like, why are they bidding this up? And then we go talk to them after and like, why did you just pay 80 grand for this property? And like, oh, it's a great property. Like the picture's a beautiful house. And we're like, but we went there yesterday and it burnt down. Like, what? What do you mean it burnt down? This is after they've spent $80,000 just by looking. So that is a huge mistake people make. So don't make that mistake. We often do a lot of attempted damage control because somebody might learn about this and not watch our channel or really do anything. And they go buy something, they think they're at a tax sale and they buy something and there's still a mortgage on it because it wasn't a tax sale. Like Josh said, just because it's for sale at the tax auction doesn't mean it's a tax auction property. It could be a homeowner association property, or maybe sometimes screw up and buy the, the foreclosure. Let's see here. County said it was put for sale, didn't sell. So the price is $24,000. We'll check and see after the charges. And somebody already called.
They got on the phone.
That's his first comment there.
Oh, wicked. That's awesome, John. Nice work, man. Good stuff. So like for everybody here, this is the perfect example of doing it live. So he's called and she's going to check if there's check after the charges and call back. So yeah, the county said put for sale, didn't sell. The price is $24,000. And based on our research, the thing could be worth, even if you made 10 grand on it, bought it today or tomorrow and sold it for 10, and even in 30 days or 14 days, or John, keep us posted. Appreciate your action. And hopefully that motivates everybody here to take some action. He's literally called in real time. And that's something we really pride ourselves on, is that these are deals happening right now that you can take action on. And especially on these streams, it is the early bird who gets the worm. We found one time it was like $2 properties, and it was amazing. There were $2 over-the-counter properties. We showed it, and it was like a little law firm handling it in a small county, and they got slammed. They called us. They're like, guys, like we need some help. Like, please tell them all the properties are gone. We're just a little law firm. We're getting slammed. So, that's super important. Josh, I know you had one up your sleeve where there was like $5 properties.
Yeah, that's going to come out a little bit.
Sweet. So we do have one, and that's one of the things we do, right? Is we'll go like there's all like, imagine every single county like its own fishing spot, right? You remember you see sometimes pictures of like a dock where there's like 1,000 fishermen on the pier. That could be an example of like the Broward County in Miami. There's going to be a lot of people fishing from that pier because it's a big place. But there's thousands of counties, and we like to go places sometimes where we're like the only one with a hook in the water. And so Josh has one right now. We're going to do a case study after, because there's like $5 properties on that one, and we want to go and, basically not take our hook and take a net. And we will share that. So there's plenty of meat on the bone here for everybody to take action with. How do you build a cash buyer list prior to the auction so you can move quick? So one of the easiest ways for cash buyers is to just see who bought at the previous auction. Like, those are cash buyers. And remember, if you go to an auction and things are getting bid up to market value, network. A lot of people will be like, oh, I went to the first auction, it was terrible, everything got bid up. And I'm like, actually, that's great, because you just went to a place where there was 100 people paying cash that you can flip things to. So imagine if you get the property under contract before the auction, and maybe you get it under contract at 60% of market value, and you were just in a room with 100 cash buyers, you just call them up and you'll make a quick $10,000 or $20,000. So the one of the biggest things that we see is you have to have a bit of a hard shell if you're going to do this business, and you have to be prepared to chase a lot of leads, that might not pan out. And you almost need a canine mentality, like, I've never seen a dog get tired of chasing a stick. They're always going. And if you can enjoy the chase and know that every time you go, you're getting sharper and you're honing your skills, then that's where this stuff is going to pay off. But just don't be a downer if you go to 2 or 3 or 4 sales and things get bid up. There's 1,500 tax deed places. Just find another one. And the deals are out there. That's kind of my biggest, one of my biggest things that annoys me is the complainers that have only went to like 1 or 2 sales. An example is one of the guys who came into our trainings. He went 12 months driving down from Canada, crossing a border. He's originally from the UK. 12 months, I think he went to 12 auctions. He didn't get anything for the first year. And in the second year, he got $2.8 million in real estate for $280,000. Does this business full time, has never looked back. So you only fail if you give up. There's so many cliches in this in this game. So let's see here. Yeah, and John, keep us posted. Nice work on that. And let's see, the last deed that we picked up was, which auction were we at, Josh, when we picked up the last one? Was it Houston? Was it Arkansas? Or was it, you just picked one up in Philly with one of our guys, right?
Yeah, last property that someone bought was in Philly. Yeah. Nice.
So we're going to Philly coming up here.
Oh, I think they're asking about that, the property that's available. I think they're asking about the over the counter. I think that's what they're asking about.
Oh, about the last property you just talked about. Nice.
Yeah, the one we talked about here. Yeah, so you'd have to just go back to the beginning of the video, and then you'll be able to see how we got it. But it was the over the counter in Washington County.
Nice. Let's see. When going to a live sale. Oh, here we go. Silly question. When going to a live sale, Harris County. I know Harris County, you need to take cashier's checks. What increments do you do? Yeah, for the increments, depends on what you're bidding on. If you're bidding on something, if you want to take $100,000, you could take, $9,000, $10,000 checks and then break it up into hundreds or 500, just kind of splice it up. It's definitely recommended to do that. We've went to these auctions before with hundreds of thousands of cash, and it feels a little awkward. Is the name of the game. Let's see. Yeah. Well, Josh, what have you been breaking them up to in the auction lately?
5, 10, 15, 20. That's pretty reasonable. Just because you don't want them holding on to your money, give them the least amount as possible.
Nice. Good stuff. Good stream. All right, guys, it's the most important time. It's time to take action. John's already researching the property here today, might be taking a swing at it. Now it's your turn to take action, whether you're going to go through, watch this again and follow along, or check out some of our other videos. You know, it's time to go. And I like to wrap up these streams kind of with, you know, there's two camps of learning. We have Camp A, who are the folks who can literally download this thing and go do it on their own. And that's awesome. We're here to provide you guys with as much free information as possible. And then there's the other camp, who are folks who are similar to myself. And when I got into this business, I spent 20 years ago, $5,000. I went to a 3-day workshop. 2 days after the workshop, I went to an auction in Washington, but I actually met one of the guys at the workshop who was an expert. And he guided me to all the properties, showed me what to look for and what not to look for. And the day of the auction, I was absolutely terrified and I was too scared to even raise my hand. And he literally took me by the hand, raised my hand and said, bid now on this. I was like, okay. And I won the bid. And, you know, it was 40 acres of land for $4,200. It was worth 40, sold it for 20, made 15 grand, never looked back. But the point is, I needed somebody to, like, it wasn't enough that I went to the seminar and I drove there. I physically needed somebody to raise my hand and push me to bid. So if you're the type of learner who needs some hand holding and some help, and, you know, a lot of the things we do in life, whether it's from your first steps, learning how to ride a bike, require hand holding. That's what we're here to do. So we can show you, you know, we can straight up pull auctions for you. You can come to an auction with us. Josh is going to be in Texas here in about 2 weeks. You can come join that one. We have a virtual auction that you can join us with from the comfort of home and bid. And we also build AIs that will do so much of the work, everything you've seen here today in a matter of minutes. So that's what we do. We help you out. So there's a link below. Anybody here can schedule a call for that. And we can help you out if it's a fit. If not, just make sure you get the book, but do something. The worst thing that can happen is to watch this and be in the same position next year, having not picked up a property. The time to act is today. I keep this on my desk every day. The sands to the hourglass. We never know when we're going to get our last one of these. And real estate is a tool to freedom, to do what you want, to help yourself, help your family, and have that flexibility that you want. So on that note, we appreciate everybody. We're going to look at your comments. For example, Georgia here. Maybe next week we do Georgia or California. So we will dive into that. Thank you, everybody. Subscribe if you like this stuff, and we'll see you soon.
See you, everybody.
Peace.